Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today you are going to learn how to build your own Facebook Messenger chatbot using Python. And for helping us building this chatbot, we will need to use Flask, requests library, and grok utility. First of all, you should already know what a chatbot is, but if you don't know, I will make a little explanation what it is and how it should or can be used. A chatbot really the function of it is to, or the utility is to receive messages sent from real human users, interpret them, maybe contact another external APIs or databases or whatever, get info from whatever they need and interpret their info and send back a response to the user. So in the perfect world, a chatbot should keep a normal conversation with a human being without the human noticing that he's speaking with a bot. In real life, sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes we already know we are speaking with a bot, but the bot is still useful. For example, if we want to track orders on a Facebook company, for example, we can send the order number and the bot will interpret that is an actual order number, check on database or contact a third party and get back to the user with a message saying where the package is currently. So this is a quick example for a test bot, chatbot. In this example or in this tutorial, we are going to build a simple chatbot. It will just be a chatbot to flip a coin. So you send a message saying, for example, flip a coin. Chatbot will receive that message and will interpret that message by knowing that it needs to flip a coin. Next, your chatbot will receive the message, generate a random number between 0 and 1, for example, and return back to the user a message saying heads or tails. Okay, this is fairly simple. With this example, you will be able to build more complex chatbots, and the work for each chatbot is similar, even for Facebook or for Slack or from other third parties. So I hope you enjoy. Let's jump to this tutorial. So first of all, to create a chatbot exactly on Facebook, you need two things. You need a Facebook account. Actually, you need three things: a Facebook account, you need a developer's account, and you also need a Facebook business page or a Facebook page, because chatbot will be connected to your Facebook page. Okay, this is important. So the first step before we configuring everything is learn how our bot will work, what will be our infrastructure, and from there we will set up the bot on Facebook developer console, so you can see what you need to do in your side to make your configurations work. So if we go back to the previous slide, you see here a beautiful diagram that I made, and this will explain how your chatbot will work. So this will be your chatbot. Okay, this will be running on your local machine and you will test it there. If you deploy it to some server, this app will be running in your server. This is made in Python and is using two dependencies: the Flask and Flask is a lightweight web application framework. You can create endpoints, HTTP endpoints, and respond to HTTP requests easily. So we are going with this library. It's simple and effective for our case. Then you see here something called requests. So for this is a library, and as you see here, requests is a simple yet elegant HTTP library. So it just makes easy to make HTTP requests. Flask receives the requests, requests makes them. Okay. So if we go back to our drawing board, imagine that let's see a flow, an example flow. So this is the Facebook chat window, and a user types on the chat window that is communicating with your Facebook page. So the user tells flip a coin. Facebook will have a webhook, and if you don't know what a webhook is an endpoint, an HTTP endpoint that Facebook will call every time an action or an event happens. For example, Facebook may call your endpoint when a message is sent to your chat, or a message is reacted on your chat with a like, for example. And there are many events there, but really we will use, for sake of this tutorial, we will use the event receive a message. So when Facebook receives a message and sees a new message in your window, on your chat window for your Facebook page, it will call an endpoint defined on your Facebook for Developers console. After calling your endpoint, there is something that you might know or you might not know, which is ngrok. And this is very simple. Ngrok is made for, in this case, for sake of testing without deploying in a real machine or in a machine exposed to the public internet. As you might know, by default, we are going to run this in port 8080, okay? And your router doesn't have that port open to the internet. So we have ngrok, which exposes local servers, which is our local machine, behind NATs and firewalls to the public internet over secure tunnels. So you get two things. You get a connection to the external network, and you are able to receive requests from the internet, and you are also able to use HTTPS right from the ngrok. So this is only for testing, but this is really useful in this case. So it will act like a proxy. It will proxy a request from the public internet to your private network. Okay, that's it. So Facebook, let's continue. Facebook makes a request. ngrok will receive that request and will forward it to your local machine using your Flask server endpoint. From now on, you receive a request for the endpoint webhook, and you also receive in the body several info that we will see later, but you receive the message content. For example, this is really useful, and we really need message content. Here we will process in Python bot, we will process that message content, and we'll see, is the message that we receive asking for us to flip a coin? If yes, we will generate a random number between 0 and 1, and if it's 0, it means it's heads. If it's 1, it's tails, for example, okay? And then after that, we will use our requests library, okay? And we will use the post method. It's something like this, but with a post. And we will send a request to the Facebook Graph API. And the Graph API has several subparts of APIs, and we are using the Messages API. So we are making a post request to the Graph API on Facebook API, and we will send in this request many other info, but the most important one is our heads or tails message. So here we will send heads or tails, and this message will pop up back in the Facebook chat window saying the result of the flip a coin operation. Basically, that's it, what we are going to build. So stay tuned, and in the next session, we will configure the developer console so you can make everything that is here work. Okay? Hope you enjoyed the first session. Hope you understood everything, and I'll see you in session 2. Goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome to session 2 of the tutorial how to build your own Facebook message chatbot using Python. Okay, so now in session 1 we took a quick ride on how our application will work, some example flows, and we spoke also about the frameworks that we are going to use. If you didn't see session 1, I really recommend you doing it, because you are going to see session 2 without any context, and that wouldn't be helpful for you. So now in session 2 we are going to set up this application in Facebook for Developers Console. You don't forget, you need a Facebook account, of course. You also need a Facebook page so you can attach your chatbot or your chat to that page, and you also need a Facebook developers account. I won't be creating those here, but they are fairly easy to create, so you will have no problems creating them. So when you are in developers.facebook.com, you go to My Apps. If you're creating new, you don't have any app. I have a bunch of them, but I will create a new one so you can see how to do it. So we can create the business one, which includes the messenger, next, and then the details. What is display name? It can be flip coin bot. This will help to you identify your app. And yeah, your contact name and the business account, it's none. Okay. Let's wait a bit for it to create the app. The app is created. Now we need to select here our app type, and our app type will be a messenger one. Setup. Okay. And now we can set up our messenger app. First of all, if we scroll down here to settings, basic, you will see your app, your display name, your app ID, which we will need, your app secret you will also need, and a bunch of other information that you won't need. From that on, if we go to our messenger and we go to settings, we will need to select a page so that we can generate a token to communicate with that page. So basically, you are going to create a page so that your chatbot will be attached to their page. I will also have a page created. It's cast Genesis. So you can use this page. I will use this page. You can use another one. And if you don't have, you need to create it. And then you need to generate a token. And you should copy this token because you wouldn't be able to see it again. So I'll copy this token locally, and you should do the same. Don't share this token with anyone. So this token will be used for in your communication with the Messenger API. Okay, so when you are in this doing this post, you will use that authentication saying, hey, I am that app and I'm sending this message, and I have the secret, and I have I have the token to send this app, so I'm authenticated. And now we also need to configure our webhooks. Our webhook is this part that we are going to configure, but we won't do this now because we need to configure and grok as well. For that, it will be helpful to understand how it will work. So if we click add call URL, you'll see an URL, which is the URL that ngrok will generate, okay? And you'll also see a verified token. And when you see token, that Facebook will echo back to you as part of a callback URL verification. What does this mean? It means that this is a way for your chatbot verify that is actually Facebook calling your endpoint. So you will send here, this is a secret token, imagine. And on the first flow, actually, when you click verify and save, Facebook will call, not this endpoint, okay, will call ngrok with, for the endpoint to verify your, actually it is for this endpoint, but it is a get, okay, and it will send the token that you saved here. Your app will receive and will confirm that that verified token is the same as you are expecting. And this is a secret one, you shouldn't share with anyone. If the app sees that that token corresponds to the true, it will send back a response to Flipcoin echoing back that exactly same token. So after configuring this and we are missing the callback URL, we are good to go to build in next session, start building our application. We will start by building our verify flow, which will send this verified token there. And after that, we'll have our callback configured here, so we can start developing the chatbot itself. So this is session 2, guys. It was a short one. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for session 3. Goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome to session 3 of tutorial how to build a Facebook chatbot using Python and a bunch of other libraries like Flask, requests, and an utility called ngrok. That's it. So in previous sessions, I showed you what will be the implementation and how to configure the chatbot in Facebook for developers page, which is the page where we are, and we ended the last session about the webhooks and talking about webhooks and how to verify a token. And we conclude that to verify a token, we need to build an endpoint on our side. In this case, a get endpoint that will receive, actually, it's easier this way. It will receive a get /webhook we will receive a secret or a verified token, and we need to send it back, the response, with that particular or echoing that particular token or verified token that we received. This is a way of verifying that we are indeed receiving traffic from Facebook and not other people or other malicious people, right? So let's configure that. First of all, we need to create the app on our side. We need to create Python app and the endpoint and make the endpoint work. Choose a verified token. It can be whatever you want. And then start off and grok so that your local machine is exposed to the internet. And apart from that, it will just work. Let's go. So I'm in my desktop right now. Let's create a folder called Facebook Chatbot. And that let's go inside that folder. And now let's create a file called app.py, and let's create a virtual environment for that. Let's call it venv from virtual environment. It will take a while. I always recommend to create this virtual environment, and let's activate virtual environment. That's it. So we have a file called app.py. Let's open it in VS Code. You can use whatever you want. Okay. Let's update later, and let's open up and let's put this bigger so you can see well. All right. So first of all, we need Flask, right? So let's create another file called requirements.txt, which will have our requirements, okay? And in our requirements file, we will need Flask, right? So if we need Flask, we need to get Flask. So you can do something like this. And if you do so, you're able to have Flask. So you might want to see our requirements.txt file. Requirements.txt file Python. So you can see what's the format and how it works. But it's basically your dependency equal the version. And you can use pip to install those dependencies with pip install -r and your file. And we will do that right away. So for now, we need Flask. And we need also requests. So let's go ahead and import requests as well. This is too big for me. So let's go import requests and paste it here like that. Awesome. So now we can go to our terminal and do pip. First, let's just see our Python version. Okay, 3.9. So pip, it should be also from Python 3.9. All right, pip install -r for requirements and your file. It will install both of these dependencies for us. Installed Flask, and there is another bunch of dependencies that come with Flask. And that's it. And it should have install requests as well. Okay, so requirements created, we can start coding our application. So we will need Flask. So from Flask import Flask, and we also need request from Flask. And that's basically what we need for now. And we need to set up our app. So app Flask, name Flask, and we need to run it. We need to make it run in some port. So run it on app.run and make it host to be equal 0.0.0.0 will be localhost, and the port will be 3000. That's it. Awesome. So now we can start really coding our app. So first of all, we need to define our route. So our route will be app.route, and then we receive the path, so web hook, and we receive the methods. For now, we only will need one, but we can just create the other one since we will need the post as well. So that's good. And grok looks like this. And let's go. So methods get post done. And now we can start define our function. Of course, here we need quotes. All right. Okay, so define function can be called listen. And this function, we just basically need to check if requests dot method is equal to get. We here will just validate, we'll just verify our token. So validate verify token, and else it's a post in this case, or another kind of method, but we will make it to be a post, and we can just print not implemented yet, and that's it. So now we will create a function so that we can validate our token, verify token, right? So let's create a function for this. So define verify token, and we will receive a request. And now it's important so you can see how the request looks like. So the request will be something like this. This is the base URL. And okay, I can increase this a bit. And you receive a query parameter called hub mode, which is subscribe. We can check this if you want, but we don't need it there. And we will receive the token. Okay, and we will receive this challenge. So if this token is the same as we defined in our application and is the same as our application is expecting, we return the hub challenge. So we receive a get with a challenge, a verify a token, which will be something like A, and we receive a challenge, which is 2. We see that our A here is equal to the A that we receive, and then we return the 2, which is the challenge, back to Facebook, and that's it. Awesome. So let's go ahead to our code again. You want to understand what we are going to do. So if request.args, right, dot get, what we want, hub dot verify token is equal, and now we just need to create our verify token, right? So let's create a variable here called verify token, this vf token for education ecosystem. Awesome. And if it is equal to this variable, we can just print token was verified, and we can just return. Now we need to return the rec.args.get, and now we need to get the hub dot, let's see here, so hub dot challenge. Okay, we need to return the challenge. That's it. So we return this. Otherwise we just print token was not verified, and oh man, and we just can return something like incorrect. Awesome. Now we can just call our function verify token and pass our request, and of course return the content of this. Right, we return this hub challenge if we verify the token is indeed equals to our verified token. That's it. So now we need to start ngrok. So you do something like ngrok. So you say ngrok for all traffic with HTTP protocol to my 3000 port. And ngrok will run and generate an URL for you that will redirect to your port. So now we need to run our application. So python app.py, and I'm missing something. Our URL is wrong. It's a slash. And we also are missing, of course, this is not equal the same, right? Yeah, that's it. So now this is main, not name. that was why it was not running. So let's go. So if you run it, it is running on port 3000. That's awesome. So, and all traffic will be redirected to this. Let's see if our endpoint works. So if you replace this in our Postman, and let's go ahead and replace this and do what? And change. This has spaces, so it's a kind of tricky, but that doesn't matter. We will sort it out. So if we send a verified token that is wrong, we are receiving an internal server error, which makes sense because it's not methods, it's method. That's why. So if we now send a wrong verified token, we should receive incorrect. This is wrong, incorrect. Okay. And now if we receive the right, so since this needs to be URL encoded, so let's make it URL encoded. That's it. So we should receive this challenge. Yes. And now if we change this, it changed as well the response. Awesome. So this is working right now. So what we are going to do now is copy and paste this URL and edit callback, make it here, and pass our verified token, and it should be verified, right? That's it. It's verified. We can confirm that we received token was verified. If we go to there is a console for ngrok. If we go there, we see that we receive get with the challenge is this one, and this is what we sent. So for now, this is verified. You already have everything set up in the Facebook console. From now on, you just need to start writing your bot, and Let's see, and let's do that in next session. See you there. Hello everyone and welcome to last session. In this session we are going to see and to implement everything else regarding verifying the token. So let's go, let's get into it and let's make it work. So right now I forgot in here webhooks, you also need to subscribe to particular webhooks that you may want. So for example, there are many kinds of webhook subscriptions like you see here, and we are interested in this one, messages, and I'll tell you why. According to Facebook, this callback will occur when a message has been sent to your page. So this is what we want. We want to be alerted when a message arrives so we can flip a coin or not and give it the result to the user. So let's continue writing our app and let's make it work. So first of all, we need to implement the post, right? So we implemented the get and now we need to implement the post. So we can delete this, okay? And now we might want to see if Facebook is actually sending us requests when we receive a post. When we receive a message, if they send us a post request to /webhook method. So why not? So if requests dot method is equal post, what we might do, let's print the request payload. So requests dot JSON. We know that we are going to receive a JSON, so let's print request.json and see what it has, okay? Let's restart our app. It's restarting, and let's send a message to our Facebook page chat. But before that, let me refresh this so we can see if something passes here. So let's go. Let's type hello there. So let's see if we received something. So we are receiving posts and our server is returning 500. That's okay. So now we can see the structure of what we are receiving. And we are interested mainly in these texts inside the message. And we also are interested in our sender ID so that we can respond to that sender ID. They keep trying sending us and we are always returning 500. So Facebook will try and try. Okay, so let's go. Let's terminate our program because we are not returning anything, so it is complaining. So first of all, let's define our secret sentence. Sentence too much. And it might be something like flip coin. Flip coin. Seems fair, right? So if it's a post and we want to get the text, right? So let's save this let's save this as a payload, and this represents everything in here, right? So we want to get the entry, and then this is an array of objects, right? And we want to get the first object. So, and then what we want is the messaging, right? And messaging is what we want. So we want this object here. And also messaging is an array, as you might see. but it's we have key value inside of it, right? So we can do something like we can get our events, which are our payload, okay? And now we get the entry, so you can address entry with something like this. Now we want the item 0, right? And now we want the messaging, right? Messaging. We might receive many messaging events here. You see it's an array. So we need a for loop, just in case. For event in events, right? And now we need to grab the text, which is this one. So it is easy. It is easy. So event. Now we want the text. So event message text. Event message and text. Okay, and this is our text, our message text. So we do want to see if our sentence to match is equal to our message text. If it's not, we don't flip a coin. If it's equal, it's a good sign. We need to parse this message. So we need to check who sent the message so we can send the message back. So check who sent the message. So sender ID. And we also get that here, right? So we can get from event sender and ID. Pretty good, right? And now we can start sending messages, right? So, but before we need to define a function to flip a coin. Otherwise, we don't know what to return. So define flip coin, and this will be the most simple function that we already made. So you need to import. We are going to use the random framework. The random from Python. So from random import rand int. Awesome. And now we can actually make our code for this. So random number is equal rand int. The range is from 0 to 1. And if rand equals 0, we might return heads. Else, return tails. Makes sense, right? 0 heads, 1 tails. You can make the other way around if you want. All right, so then we need also to create a function to send a particular message. We already have the sender ID, but we need to send the message. So the send message will be this flow. We will use the requests library so we can post a message to Facebook, okay? So fairly simple. First of all, we need to import requests. So import requests so we can make the post requests that we need. Okay, so let's create a function called send text message. So define send text message, right? What do we need to receive? The recipient ID which will be the sender ID, of course, we want to send to them, and the text that we want to send. And now the payload to send a message is something like message. You can send more complex messages, but it's something like this. And then you define the text that we want to send. And then it is text that we passed, right? And then you also need to type the recipient, which will be our recipient ID. So it has a key ID and our recipient ID. So far so good, right? And now we need an important part, the authorization part. The authorization part is where we are going there. So we need an access token. This is the common header for OAuth authorization. And we need also, we will get this in a few seconds. So now we need to use requests.posts, right? And then we need an URL. So first of all, we need an URL, and the URL is always the same. So this is the URL for Facebook Graph API, which will allow you to send messages. So the URL is this one. Actually, we can use the variable. Great. And then you can pass parameters, which will be our auth. And we can also pass the JSON, which is our payload. And we are good to go. We are just missing this access token. But I'll show you how to get it. It's easy. So if you go here, and if you see Facebook keeps trying that message, we are always returning 502 or 500. So they will keep until it's success. I don't know if they have any kind of timeout, but whatever. Now that we have this, if we go to our Flipcoin bot, we can generate a token. Understand? You can copy it. After that, you won't be able to see that token again. You just need to generate a new one. So let's create here page access token, and let's save it here. So now we have our token to make our access token, and that's it. So now we can use our function to send a text message. Seems right, okay? So now we have the sender ID, so we can send a text message for the sender ID, which will be the recipient of the message, and let's introduce. Okay, we got you, so all right. Let's flip a coin. Woohoo! And then we can actually flip a coin. So result flip coin result, and our result will be our function flip a coin. Easy as that, right? And then we can also send another text message saying, okay, to sender ID, of course, and saying the result is, and then we can do function format for this and just pass the flip coin results. That's it. Easy peasy. Now let's make it more fun and send also a message, an image. Okay, let's copy off this function and make another function called sex send image message. Okay, and we are going just to send a GIF of a flipping coin. So we need the recipient, and we also have the message. So, but now a message is not a text, is attachment. Okay, and the attachment is an object and has a type. and our type is image. Fair enough. And the payload is what? Let's see what is the payload. It will have an URL, and we'll pass our URL here, and it will have is reusable. True, to make it reusable for Facebook. So we are missing here the URL. I already have an image here that you might want. So let me grab it from here so you can see the image that we are going. So I found the GIF, and this is the GIF of a flipping coin. It's great, isn't it? So here we pass the URL. Okay. Awesome. So actually we can pass it here, image URL, and make it this much more broader. So image URL, and we are missing something. This is a column here, a column, not a comma, and it is the same API, so it will work basically the same. Now we can also, all right, let's flip a coin, send image message to our sender ID, and this is our URL. Awesome, that's it. That's basically it. I don't know if it will run at first time, but I hope it made sense for you. So you receive a request, you parse it, you see if it matches your magic sentence. If it matches, you get sender ID, you get and you send a text message saying flip a coin, and you send another one with a GIF, you flip the actual coin, and you send the results. That's it. That's basically it. So now let's see if we don't have any errors. We don't, which is good. And now let's see, open up our messenger. Talk to a human. Okay, I don't care. So flip coin. Let's see if you receive what we want. Okay, so yes, of course, this is a post method, so you need to return something. So let's return a string like okay, so that you return something while you're sending the post. So otherwise Flask will complain. Let's try again. Oops. So flip coin. All right. I think nothing is arriving. It seems, right? Hello there. So we are still receiving hello there. Oh, it worked with delay, but it worked. We are receiving the post. Flip coin. All right, let's flip a coin. Oh yeah. So we are, yeah, it's responding to the two flip coins. We were behind because of this hello there was returning 500. So, okay. It worked. Let's clear this. And for you to see that I'm not lying, let's do it again. Flip coin. Received. Wait. We received something. All right, flip the coin. The result is tails. Okay, that's it. That's it, guys. So, and we can make improvements, but flip a coin. This won't work because it won't be equal to your magic sentence. So nothing will happen. Let's try another time. it needs to work. Yeah. So it takes a while because it might be uploading the image. I don't know, but we are sending the message. User is receiving the result, and you are learning with me, and that's awesome. So now you understand how it works. Now you understand the flow of doing it. Now you understand the architecture of it. You know that you receive a subscription and then you make a call to the Facebook API, and it's the Graph API. You know that you need to subscribe to particular events to receive those events. If you don't subscribe, you won't receive them. There are many events that you can search for. Those are the events, and I hope you enjoy seeing this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.